Hey, a lot of work put into this moment. A lot of work. Remember one thing today. You're not alone. You got 10 dudes around you that are going to lay it on the line for you. Do the same for them. Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
I'm crossing in the states. You know that I don't play. I'ma take you on a date. Yeah, I'm the 40 gang, so never switching.
Ready to go.
I know this from the heart, cause you know that I'm a star. And it's all came from the heart. You were here when it was hard. I told the world I'm
Hey, gotta love this, man. Get to go out there and play some football, man. Have some fun, play for each other.
Or each other for the man next to you.
Hey, 60 minutes, play for one another.
Hey, man, this is a hell of an opportunity. What you willing to lay on the line? Ask yourself that.
Finish, grind, take a deep breath, and have some fun. Okay?
If it wasn't for this headspace, that game.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to End Zone Express. We are here with What the Hell is Happening in Sports, as you already know, Mr. Nero. Clap it up real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we have Ant-Man in the building. Fuck the Eagles. Yes, sir. We got Luke in the
Yes,
building with us, Mr. Chargers fan. How we doing? Clap it up real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we got a good episode for you guys, man. We got a really, really good episode for you guys. We're going to get it cracking right away. NFL top 5 current QBs. I'm going to like this debate. This is probably going to be the debate of the pod. So for me, right now, I got Josh Allen, best quarterback in the league, bro. I think that goes without saying. I think that's pretty easy. So I know stats aren't everything. He is leading the league in passing yards. But I will say, he's just dominated every game so far he's been in. He led a comeback already against a contender that's going to be rivaling him definitely in the playoffs. I think that's a matchup we're going to see. He's already solidifying his team right now as probably the best team in the NFL. And I think that Josh Allen so far has been the best player on the best team so far in the NFL. And with that being said, I also do have Josh Allen so far going back-to-back MVP now. I'm going to scratch my Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts take. I was really early on that. I honestly think Josh Allen's going to go back-to-back. I think right now he's just showing his dominance on both sides of the ball, rushing and passing, I should say, not defense and offense, but rushing and passing. So I have him at number 1. Number 2, this might shock some. But I got Jay Herbo at 2. I know he played. It's that week 1 game for me, bro. I think you make a statement, especially a division game against a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. You come out and you have 300 yards, and I'm pretty sure you had 3 touchdowns as well. And you revitalize QJ. Quentin Johnson looks great. So I think his influence so far, and actually also getting the job done with his feet too as well. I mean, we saw in that Chiefs Chargers game where he ran for a first down at the end of the game, and they just couldn't contain him all game with his legs. He utilized his legs all game, and I thought that was very, very, very telling for me that he came out against a team that obviously last year went to the Super Bowl, and he was able to dominate no matter what was in front of him, as well as then the following week. I'm pretty sure they played the Raiders last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they played the Raiders last week, and obviously 200 plus, and I think he had 2 touchdowns in that game. Another dominant game. I get it's the Raiders, but still, another week to expound on. So we're going into week 3. So we're gonna see how he looks this week in week 3, but that's definitely my number 2. Right now at number 3, this is gonna sound wild, dude, but Daniel Jones. I don't think anybody expected Daniel Jones to even be remotely this good, and he's 3rd in the league in passing yards right now. So right now, and like I said, it's current at this moment. So I'm telling you, Daniel Jones is killing it, bro.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He leads the league in average per attempt as well.
He does. Yes, he does. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's second in average yards per game right now. I get it. It's 2 weeks, but it is what it is. This is reality. Number 4. You know, I'd probably have to go Aaron Rodgers because that first week he had like 4 touchdowns and 250 yards. And then, yeah, he kind of came back down to earth last week, but the defense didn't necessarily do their part last week, and they gave up 31 points. So I think I'd have to say Aaron Rodgers might be 4th. Actually, I'd have to put Jordan Love 4th and Aaron Rodgers 5th. I think Jordan Love, obviously, that first game came out and dominated. Second game had a dominant game against another contending team from last year. So definitely, yeah, him 4th. And then I definitely have to go at 5, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a strong week, first week, semi-strong week last week. So that's what I like right now. Like I said, passing yard stats don't tell the whole story, but that's what I like right now, especially with the strength of schedule so far and the defense that they played against.
My top 5 QBs right now, I'm going to have to say at number 1, I'm gonna have to agree with Amari here. It's probably Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen just been pretty consistent. He's been doing his job as the defending MVP. Even when he hasn't really had to do much, I mean, he just he's able to be a leader and lead his team. Obviously, in the first game, he had 390 something yards, and that comeback win against the Ravens, a spectacular game. And he didn't do much against the Jets, but even in this Thursday night game against the Dolphins, where he was able to lead his team in the clutch and make certain plays, I mean, that's just Josh Allen for you. Number 2, I'm also gonna have to agree with Mario on this one, is probably Justin Herbert. I mean, Justin Herbert's just been he's been pretty solid his first 2 games. Week 1, he was really good. Week 2, not exactly the same performance, but he was still able to make some plays like that 64-yard touchdown to, I think, was it Quentin Johnson? He was able to make that one play, and he did look pretty solid against the Raiders, kind of for the most part. And I do feel like Justin Herbert's gonna have a pretty good season this year. Number 3, I'm going to go with Jordan Love at number 3. I really like how Jordan Love has been playing so far. I'm gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to keep it up for the rest of the season. But I really do like Jordan Love so far this season. He's looked really good. He's had his targets like Tucker Kraft, and I feel like his wide receivers and Reed before he got hurt, and Wicks and Dobbs, they've also been solid for him. And Love has been doing a good job finding all his receivers. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones at number 4. Just thinking about it, yes, he has Tyler Warren, and yes, he has Jonathan Taylor in his backfield, and then he has Pittman and Pierce. But honestly, it's a good offense. Just like, to me, not really even the strongest offense per se though. So I feel like Daniel Jones has been doing a good job coordinating that offense. And at number 5, I'm gonna have to say Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson has been pretty consistent. He did have a good first game against the Bills, despite them taking that loss. He had a pretty solid game, and then they went against the Browns, and that was just, it was kind of an ass whooping to a degree. So I do believe Lamar Jackson is still currently a top 5 QB in the league, and I will say Aaron Rodgers might be an honorable mention somewhere outside there, probably on the bubble. But to me, Lamar Jackson is number 5. That's my top 5.
I like it. I might have been crazy about having Daniel Jones in there, but I like Daniel Jones so far this year, man. I do.
Hell yeah.
How you been? Talk to me.
Honestly, for the most part, with you guys' top 5, I basically got honestly the same. The first 2 the same. Obviously, at number 1 being just the same as and Amari. It got to be Josh Allen. I mean, what he has done the first few games is not stuff that we haven't seen Josh Allen do, but it's been more efficient. I would say it's been far more efficient because when you look at him in the past, you'll see times where he'll get to pass happy and try to force certain passes to guys, and it may lead to picks. It may lead to just some bad plays. But overall, like the way how his offense has looked, team overall, but his offense has looked in the first few games has been great. It's kind of giving that vibes that, okay, yeah, I think this might be the year that they can really pull something special off. I mean, like you guys have said, he does lead the league in passing yards with 755 and 5 touchdowns so far this year to no picks. So he's completing almost 70% of his passes. And he does have obviously a fourth quarter comeback and a game-winning drive in that prolific game week 1 against the Ravens. So the start that this team has had, which obviously includes him, it's a great start. It's a start that, okay, it has everybody seeing the Bills as a contender, which they are. I think if he plays well, if he keeps continuing to spread the ball around to guys like Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid finally got really more involved last week, this past yesterday against the Dolphins. You got Keon White, who's up and coming. Keon Coleman, who's up and coming. And even featuring Dawson Knox at times as well. Elijah Moore. I mean, overall, that receiving corps as a whole, adding James Cook coming out of the backfield, that's some pretty damn good skill receivers. And I think with his leadership, I think the Bills make something happen. But right now, I gotta give it to Josh Allen at number 1. Number 2, again, Justin Herbert with his 3 top wide receivers. He's spreading the ball efficiently, and obviously he hasn't turned the ball over. So I think with him, we're finally starting to see the Justin Herbert that we've been waiting to see for the longest. We've known he has a big arm. We know that, when he's in trouble, he can scramble out the pocket. He's a big guy, so he has a little bit of physical strength to him. But for right now, I mean, this Chargers team with his leadership and adding in Jim Harbaugh's expertise, you're finally going to see more of a difference in year 2 in this offense, and it's off to a great start. I mean, now Quentin Johnson is finally looking like the Quentin Johnson he should have been looking like. So I tell you, Justin Herbert right now, he has to be number 2. And again, similar with him, 72% completion percentage. He has 560 yards so far in only 2 games. But again, just like Josh Allen, he has 5 touchdowns and no picks. So when you're not turning the ball over, it's going to help this offense a lot. So if he just continues on that pace, he'll continue to have a great year. But number 1 and number 2 are self-explanatory. Number 3, I'm going to go with Jordan Love. And obviously, with Jordan Love as well, similar to the first 2, he's spreading the ball around. But again, 4 touchdowns to no turnovers in his first couple games. He does have 480 yards. So about 240 yards a game right there. Stats really don't matter when we're really waking quarterbacks in this moment, but it does help. You know what I'm saying? It does help. Plus, also Jordan Love has been one of the better quarterbacks in his young career, and he's finally has a chance to start now. And which he has for the last few years. He's finally really getting more acclimated to the NFL life. He has a better team. The Packers have done well bringing in skilled receivers, and even having a great running back in Josh Jacobs to limit the charge. But hey, you can't go wrong with Jordan Love right now. And I tell you that this Packers team is going to surprise a lot of people. Number 4, I will say, This is kind of a toss up because I
Mhm.
want to include Daniel Jones in this, but I think the start right now, it's been 2 great games and he's in a much better situation. I'm not going to have him in the top 5. He's an asterisk because he's I would include him in the top 5, but I kind of got a surprise at number 5 for y'all. Number 4 would be Lamar Jackson. He's played 2 great games. Obviously, he lost that heartbreaker to the Bills, but he hasn't turned the ball over. He has 6 touchdowns this year. He's getting his receivers involved. I mean, you can't go wrong with Lamar, and plus he adds in his rushing ability as well. I go with him. But number 5, I low-key want to say Baker Mayfield, honestly. And the reason I say Baker Mayfield, just for right now with number 5, it's not really as much of stats. He's played very well his first couple games, leading comebacks, but really being composed with his team. Obviously, you know, he was down to the Falcons, game-winning drive. He was down to the Texans, game-winning drive. The stats haven't shown it just yet because it's only been the first couple games of the season. But you add in a young star in Emeka Egbuka, I mean, it's going to do wonders for that offense. But I just see Baker Mayfield, at least right now, right in the top 5 with really being tied with Daniel Jones. But I got to show love to Baker Mayfield, especially, you know, keeping his team composed and leading 2 great comebacks.
Absolutely. I don't hate it. I like it. I like the Baker Mayfield pick, honestly. That's not a bad pick at all. It was either him or Aaron Rodgers for me at 5.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And again, honestly, and I will say, even though Daniel Jones isn't in the top 5, at least for me right now, he's actually number 6. He's at like that's how close it is. And to give Daniel Jones also, again, like I said, he's in a better situation. But I know also a lot of people have talked shit about Daniel Jones, even in the past, being a number 4 overall pick, and really, to everybody's avail, it was a surprise to everybody. You know, and just in that Giants organization, they don't have an offensive line. It's similar to the Jets. Both the New York teams, their organizations right now are have been in shambles for years. He wasn't put in a good situation. He's had a couple head coaches now. He's had 3 head coaches when he was with the Giants. Now he's on to his 4th in a new organization. That team overall in New York, it wasn't set up for success, even though we had Saquon Barkley and others. Right now, he's in a much more stable situation. The team is better. And quite honestly, Shane Steichen has done a tremendous job with him so far. You just hope it continues, but you can't go wrong with Daniel Jones right now, being at least for sure in the top 10, but really he's right there. He's right there between 5 and 6.
Absolutely. Yep. Luke, talk to me. Who do you got? Talk to me. Can you hear us? Are you with us? Are you with us, my brother? Are you here? Are you here?
It's not.
Are you out there? Are you anywhere?
Already is.
Okay. Well, when Luke figures that out, we'll rotate back to him. But yeah, I mean, I thought the lists were great. I really liked Narrow's list. I thought Narrow's list was pretty. I liked Narrow's list a lot, probably the most. Especially out of all 3 of our lists, including mine. So, 2 teams were both 3-0, undefeated at home. Right now, they are both on a 3-game win streak, and they are both averaging near 50 points a game. Actually, to be more precise, Indiana's averaging 52 points a game right now. Illinois is averaging 45 points a game right now, and both are giving up a touchdown. Now, the story of this game is both teams having high-powered offenses and very, very stingy defenses. So what will be the story this week? Will it be the high-powered offenses of each, and will it be a shootout? Or will we see the stingy defenses really come out on top this week? Let's open it up.
Honestly, this, as much offense as we really want to see in this game, for some reason, I think this might be more of a defensive battle than what we think. I feel like both teams will put up points. We'll put up some serious points, but I don't think it's going to be a pure shootout. The game, it might get into the early 20s, but I see defense coming into fruition in this game for both teams. I will say, obviously, with both teams starting 3-0, They competition wise for both teams, and all of college football, you don't really knock certain teams, but for a team like Illinois to play Western Illinois, Duke, and Western Michigan, with their status, you should be able to run it up against all three teams, in which they did. Obviously, in Western Illinois and Western Michigan, they only gave up a combined 3 points, and Duke obviously scored 19 on them. But overall, like, you're playing three teams that you should have no problem in beating. Kind of same with Indiana as well, with them playing Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana. You should be able to beat teams like that. So at least they kind of showed that their defense, even in the lower teams, can make some stops, can limit some points or whatnot. But I will say, like, when it does come to the offense, it's one of those things where if Indiana wants to pull off the upset, transfer quarterback Fernando Mendoza has to ball out. And obviously, so far this year, he has 9 touchdowns and no interceptions, averaging 3 touchdowns a game, averaging 236 passing yards a game with a 72% completion percentage. Those are great stats. And also his brother has gotten time as well in the blowouts as well. But you want to see Fernando Mendoza kind of, continue to look like the guy. He was the guy last year at Cal. It made him a high transfer value option. The Hoosiers were able to grab him, and so far it's done wonders. But when you're playing a team like Illinois, that's really your first big test of the year. And with Illinois having Brett Bielema as head coach, and who's also a former Patriot staffer, looking at that team, as much of an offensive guy he's always had a good enough defense. He's had guys like I'm blanking on names. I'm not even going to get to the names because I don't want to take too much time. But he's always been a guy that, even though with his offense, he's had great defenders as well. I would look for Brett Bielema and his staff on the defensive side to try to limit Fernando Mendoza on the air and make him use his legs in order to win this game. But it could very well end up being somewhat of a defensive battle. I honestly see the Indiana Hoosiers low key pulling an upset. I really do. I think they're going to upset Illinois this week, and it's going to come down to Fernando Mendoza playing well, but it's also going to come down to their defense really trying to limit that Illinois offense, who has been hot so far this year.
Absolutely, yeah. For me, I honestly think it's going to be a shootout, man. I just think that the way that these two teams have played the last couple of weeks, you just look at these offenses and how high-powered they are, and I think they're going to get theirs regardless.
Right.
So I can see the possibility of that, but it is at that point, now both teams are playing each other. 2 very high-powered offenses, 2 very, very highly touted teams so far right now, both ranked. Illinois ranked number 9, Indiana ranked number 19. So you do look at this game and you do look at the stats of both teams in these previous weeks, and I do think it's very, very apparent that they've both scored a lot of points, and that anything that's been in their way hasn't been able to stop them when it comes to scoring points. And their average margin of victory both is near 40, with Indiana being at 44.3 and Illinois being at 37.7. So average total game points, both teams are averaging over 50. To cover the spread for both of them on DraftKings right now, they are both over 50% and both over 60%.
Right.
For DraftKings, and they have the Fighting Illini at 100%. So I think it is going to be a 100% a battle. And I think that the defenses are definitely going to have to make some stops. But I think in the sense that you said in terms of it just being a defensive battle, I think it's going to depend on who's going to make the late game stop, because both teams are just going to be too busy scoring. So, yeah, it is going to be interesting. Now, I do want to take a look into this game too. And if you could get this game up here in the banner. I do want to take a look at Texas Tech versus Utah. I think that's going to be an interesting game as well.
Yes.
Texas Tech versus Utah. You have 2 teams who both ranked 17 and 16. Excuse me. Same thing as Illinois. Same thing Sorry, excuse me. As Indiana, I just ate recently. Same thing as Illinois, same thing as Indiana. And you got two teams also, two very high-powered offenses. Both teams are 3-0. Both teams are undefeated at home. The Utes are 2-0 on the road. The Red Raiders have yet to play on the road yet. So I do think the Utes will take this out at home. I do think that them being 2-0 on the road is a big factor in this. And their average winning margin is a little bit lower than Texas Tech's winning margin is. And the average total game points is 69.7 for Texas Tech, and them being on the heavier side for that, and 54 for Utah, them obviously being on the heavier side, with their margins both being above 30, above 35 as well. So I think with that being said, you do have to look at this game, and it is going to be another exciting game. So, Nero, what do you think about this game?
No, absolutely. It should be an exciting game. And the one guy that has kind of really surprised me for this Texas Tech team, it has to be quarterback Baron Morton.
Mhm.
Obviously, with him leading the Big 12 in touchdowns at 11, he has thrown one pick, but for him in the little bit that I've watched him, he's kind of spread the ball around to his guys, but him on the ground as well, it doesn't show yet, because I know he hasn't really rushed for as many yards. He currently has -5, so he hasn't really done as much. But with him, I like it. I like his arm. I would just hope, at least in this game, if the running backs and all three running backs that have played well, I would just hope that he probably uses his legs a tad more, because Utah's defense, and the little bit that I've watched also, Utah's defense has been stingy to start out too. So Kyle Whittingham's staff right now on the defensive end has done a great job. Naturally, I know they haven't played anybody crazy yet to start out 3-0, but I mean, hey, defense win. Offense puts up points, but defense has to win you games. So overall, this should be an offensive battle. But even like Amari said for the Illinois-Indiana game, it's going to really come down to who makes that stop at the end. You know what I'm saying? I expect both teams to put up some points. I expect Devin Dampier to continue playing well in the passing game, as well as using his legs. So, I mean, overall, yeah, this should bring you a good amount of offense. But hey, somebody has to make a play at the end of the game.
Absolutely. Amen. What do you think of these two slated games before we get into the game of the night tomorrow?
Hell yeah.
What I will say about Illinois versus Indiana, to be honest, I haven't watched too much of either team yet so far, but to pick up kind of what I kind of picked up from them is, like you guys said, high powered offense, pretty good defenses. However, they've gone against pretty kind of like easier opponents. So they haven't really got too much of a real test quite yet. But considering me being a fan of a team in the Big Ten, I feel like it's going to be a matchup where it's going to be probably in the 20s and the 30s. I feel like it's going to be a mix of both good offense and good defense, one way or another, where it just kind of like middles out to around like the mid 20s, low 30s, around there in that score. Because that's usually how Big Ten games are. But Indiana has looked pretty good, and I feel like they've taken good care of business. I will give them the slight edge over Illinois, especially since Indiana is home. So I'm going to say 31-28 Indiana.
Okay.
And for Texas Tech and Utah, both teams have looked pretty solid. They're both top 20 teams. So, and like, Texas Tech is only one rank lower than Utah. being at 17 and Utah being at 16. Both teams have looked pretty good so far this season, and I feel like it's going to be pretty close. But Utah does have a pretty strong home advantage, and honestly, Utah's home, so I'm going to have to go with Utah here. I'm going to say it will be 27-24 Utah.
I like it. I like it. Good analysis. Good analysis. Absolutely. Luke, are we back? Is we back? Is we back? Is we back? Is we is not back. So
I think he fell asleep.
maybe. With the game of the night, I think this is pretty easy. You got Auburn versus Oklahoma. John Mateers, I think that's the X factor of the game. That's probably the whole entire story of the game. John Mateer is looking like a Heisman candidate right now. Not really sure if anybody thought he'd be this good. This good. I think they thought he'd be good, but this good, not really sure. So what do you guys think about John Mateer, and how do you guys feel about Auburn's defense and what they're going to do against John Mateer? How do you guys feel about this game? Primetime game, too.
Honestly,
No, this is going to be a must-watch game. This is going to be a must-watch game. I will say, in terms of John Mateer, I'm surprised. He showed flashes last year, playing. I believe it was for Washington State. He showed flashes last year, but for him to step up in the SEC and play how he's playing, he's played well. This is definitely going to be a test. I think he just has to limit the turnovers. I know he's thrown for 5 touchdowns. He has thrown 3 picks in his first few games. If he could just limit the turnovers and use his legs effectively, which he's done the first 3 games, I think this is going to be this has to be a game, at least for him, to really, people know him, but he really has to put himself on the map with this one. And playing a team like Auburn's always, even when they don't have, as great of a year, they're always a frisky team. They always have a good defense. You always have guys on that defense that end up that do get drafted into the NFL. So he's going to go against some guys that, some big boys. He's going to go against some dogs. If he can just continue to play how he's playing and just limit the turnovers, I think John Mateer, a lot more people are going to know who John Mateer is after Saturday's game. But I do see the Sooners winning it. I think this one, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go 26-17 Oklahoma.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I'll give some stats to you guys after. Ant, how are we feeling about this game, brother man?
Honestly, as a Michigan fan who kind of watched John Mateer kind of dices up and this Oklahoma team dices up, I can say Oklahoma's a pretty good team. And Auburn, they've had a pretty solid season so far. But this is their first SEC matchup, as well as it is also Oklahoma's first SEC matchup. I feel like Oklahoma is just a stronger team here, and Auburn, they beat Baylor, but even then, I'm not fully convinced by Auburn yet. At least, I do want to see them go against a stronger opponent, and Oklahoma may be their stronger opponent here. But, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma for this one. And I'm going to say it's going to be 24 to 20. It is cutting it close a little bit, but I think it's going to be because of Auburn trying to cut it close towards the end. So that's my score prediction for that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me in this game, I have Oklahoma. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Well, not self-explanatory, but yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I just don't know if Auburn can keep up like their defense in comparison to the Oklahoma defense. I'm just not sure how they're going to hold up against John Mateer, who has had a dominating first 3 weeks. They're both averaging around 35 points with Auburn averaging 37 and Oklahoma averaging 33.7. And then average points against 6.3 for Oklahoma. The defense has pretty much let up less than a touchdown. They've let up 2 field goals a game. And average points against for Auburn is 14. They've let up 2 touchdowns, and the average winning margin is 23 for Auburn and 27.3 for Oklahoma. I think that's going to be the difference in this game, 1,000%. So I think Oklahoma's defense, they're probably going to look at this offense, who is similar to theirs in terms of scoring output, and it might be pretty easy for them to contain. And they are Auburn obviously being ranked, but you do hope to see that John Mateer can continue his Heisman candidacy. I think it's going to be Garrett Nussmeier, but I do think Mateer is making a strong case for himself early in the year why he should be there.
Absolutely.
Yep. So
I will say also,
Mhm.
what will go unnoticed is Jackson Arnold's return
Mhm.
to Oklahoma. If for Auburn to win this game, it has to be a performance for Jackson Arnold to show that even though he had a tough year last year in Oklahoma, he's improved greatly in Auburn's offense. If he can at least show, what he should have been last year in this game against his old team, his old teammates, I mean, shit, Auburn will have a shot. But playing in Oklahoma and into that crowd is gonna be tough. I will say it's gonna be tough. So if he can at least do well and at least try to put some points up for his team, it should be a game. But if he can't, Oklahoma could very well run away with it, depending on how the game goes.
Absolutely. And last game I have here, actually, because I think it's pretty interesting. So you have Ants Michigan Wolverines going up against Mr. Mahomie, Dylan Raiola. I definitely want to touch on this real quick because obviously Ant's a Michigan fan. So, Ant, I'm going to let you go first here. And looking into this game a little bit, once you get the banner up here, looking into this game a little bit, what do you think Bryce Underwood and or Dylan Raiola have to prove in this game? Do you think that Raiola has more to prove, even though he's had a hot start, or do you think Bryce Underwood definitely has a lot to prove even though he's a freshman?
Honestly, for my expectations, I feel like Dylan Raiola is gonna have more to prove because he's the one who's been getting compared to Pat Mahomes. He's the one who wants to be like Pat Mahomes. He made his number like Pat Mahomes. He made his swagger, his style like Pat Mahomes. I mean, he's trying. I mean, like he's almost like a Pat Mahomes wannabe almost. So, and Bryce Underwood, like you just said, he's a freshman. Me as a Michigan fan, I'm not expecting anything too crazy from Bryce Underwood. Um, some people may say he had somewhat of an underwhelming game against Oklahoma, but I do feel like he had 2 other starts against. I believe we won against. It was against New Mexico in the first game. That was a pretty solid start for him, and then Central Michigan, where it was just a good game all around. So honestly, I'm not I'm not sure what to expect from Bryce Underwood here, but I feel like he should probably have a decent, probably even a solid game here against Nebraska. And I believe we should beat Nebraska because, I mean, Nebraska can be pretty solid, but I'm not sure how convinced I am by Nebraska yet, unless they just show up like Oklahoma. I mean, but although I was more convinced with Oklahoma before I was anywhere kind of convinced with Nebraska because Oklahoma's more right. But Nebraska, they're a solid team. Um, but either way, when it comes to the pressure, I think Raiola probably has more expectations on him. And it's going to be an interesting game, especially since the game is at Nebraska. So it's going to be a Nebraskan atmosphere, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nero, what do you think, big dog? Oh, where'd he go? Wow. He's out here. Well, with that being said, so I think right now, Bryce Underwood, he does have a lot to prove, bro. That first start, I believe it was his first start, pretty shaky start, man. I was a little upset because I had high hopes for him this year. That wasn't a good start. But I do think right now with Nebraska being on a 3-game winning streak, Dylan Raiola and that offense is putting up 49 points a game, and the average winning margin for them is 41 points a game. I just think that even though Michigan's ranked right now, the defense has had a hand in a lot of these games. And I got Nebraska winning this one. They're home, and I think the Cornhuskers are definitely going to take this one at home. So, yep, that is how I'm feeling about that game. But with that being said, it was awesome doing some college football here on End Zone Express. We're going to start doing this for you guys way more. Shout out Ant, shout out Nero, and what the hell is happening in sports, who he was just here with us, but he's no longer here with us. I don't know what happened. Luke, who is also here, but he might have been asleep or fallen asleep. I have no idea. But, oh, here comes Nero. Hold on, chat.
Yo,
And-
my power blew out. No bullshit for a second.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. My fault, everybody. Sorry, chat.
But yeah. So Michigan versus Nebraska. Sorry, I almost did the outro there, but we finally got you right back in here. Michigan versus Nebraska, man. How you feeling? You got Bryce Underwood versus Dylan Raiola.
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It seems this power might not be in quite good graces with him quite yet.
Yeah, maybe not yet. Nerowski. You. We could probably edit this part out anyways. Probably wait for him to come back here.
Y'all can hear me now?
We can hear you
Yes?
now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Woo! Sorry, chat. Sorry, everybody. All right, it should be working now. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm gonna make it quick though. I'm gonna make it quick that way it doesn't go out. Dylan Raiola has more to prove in this game. Like Ant said, he wants to mimic Mahomes. That's his guy. That's his idol per se. He has more to prove against a Michigan team who obviously it's been they won the national championship a couple years ago. Last year was a little bit of a down year. This year has picked up a little bit with the addition of Bryce Underwood and transfer Justice Haynes. So at least their offense should be Michigan's offense should be okay. But Nebraska is going into uncharted territories, playing against Michigan, a much higher school. They got I wouldn't say better athletes, but they have more. Their athletes have more pedigree to their name due to the stars that they have and whatnot. It is what it is. But in order for Nebraska to really salvage something, Dylan Raiola has to continue to prove that he's one of those quarterbacks. He's one of those quarterbacks that should be drafted high when he does enter the draft. He has to do all he can. He has to limit his turnovers, but all quarterbacks do. But he has to play a clean game, and he has to also play smart. If he starts getting antsy in the pocket, if he starts, playing, being a gunslinger happy, trying to force throws, it's not going to do him any justice. So I honestly feel that Dylan Raiola has more to prove in this case.
Absolutely. Now, with that being said, guys, welcome back to. With that being said, guys, End Zone Express, episode 3. We are here. What the hell is happening in sports? Nero and Luke, who I think fell asleep. At least he was here in spirit. Yeah, it was an awesome episode. Love doing this. Part of my favorite podcast to do. But yeah, I had an amazing time as per usual. I'm gonna take it back to the Discord, watch some baseball, watch some college football, probably play some 2K, play some Madden, see what's up. You know what I mean? So hopefully, Nero, if you're not going out, I know I'm not going out. My ass is staying in the crib. So my ass staying in the crib. But yeah, I will see you guys in Discord. Peace.
Yeah, Good night.